Well, that's disappointing. The Raiders lose 28-14 on Monday Night Football, so their undefeated streak comes to an end. They lose to the Chargers, and, you know, this game was good in terms of how close it was at certain moments, but it lacked the intensity in certain moments for the Raiders. You know, they did terrible in the first half, got shut out, and were able to actually put up 14 points to bring the game within 1 touchdown in the third quarter, but even when they got the ball back, they weren't able to convert, and it sucks because we had big moments in this game, like Henry Ruggs getting a 51-yard catch, yet we weren't able to convert that catch into points. And, I mean, as you can tell by the score, there was no field goals in this game, so all the scoring came from touchdowns. But quite honestly, the Chargers didn't really play as good as I thought. Justin Herbert didn't really do all too well, in my opinion. I mean, he threw 3 touchdowns, but for a guy that they were, you know, really talking highly about on the broadcast, he didn't really play to the level I thought he would have. And so I think if you're a Charger fan right now, you should be worried that you only beat the Raiders by basically 1 touchdown. I mean, technically 2, but the last one was in that kind of just end of the game, and it wasn't even really from Herbert. And so, I mean, yeah, I mean, we played bad and we still made it close. You know, we played really bad and it was still close. It's crazy to think that. Josh Jacobs was back for the first time in a while. Didn't really contribute much, only averaged 3.1 yards a carry for 40 yards total. Our leading receiver was Ruggs with that huge catch, and so that really put him over the top. We had a really nice touchdown to Waller, one really nice touchdown to Renfro. Those were it. Waller had a really nice catch. Renfro had a nice slant and got that as well. But, you know, it's disappointing because I thought we might actually come back, and unfortunately we didn't. And honestly, I think the Chargers, they're a good team, but I think if you're a Charger fan, I mean, you guys barely beat us, and they had very high hopes. It was basically a home game for us. You know, there's no Charger fans hardly in attendance. It was all Raider fans there. I think it was close to 80% all Raider fans in their home stadium. I mean, that's very embarrassing for the Chargers. They're not even relevant in their own city. But besides the point, we lost, and that's what sucks. You know, there was points in this game where we had more penalty yards than scrimmage yards. You know, it was just not a good game. Even if we won, which actually seemed optimistic about, even if we won, you know, I wouldn't be satisfied because we lacked the performance and intensity on offense. We only had a couple big plays. Our offensive line is terrible. Alex Leatherwood was a terrible draft pick. I'm just putting that out there. He gets like 3 false starts a game, and I mean, the offensive line is giving Derek Carr no time. I do not blame Derek Carr at all. He actually performed better than you would have expected with such a bad offensive line. Our defense did good. I mean, holding the Chargers to just 1 touchdown in the second half. And for the record, I mean, most of their, I got to give credit to Austin Eckler with 117 yards, averaging close to 8 yards per carry, because Justin Herbert, I mean, was only throwing checkdowns. I hear all the time how good Justin Herbert is, and sure, he's good, but I mean, the only real passes he had in this game were checkdowns. He really had no passes more than 25 yards, which was kind of interesting because that's, I guess, what wins you games, you know, throwing checkdowns. Derek Carr is more of a risky thrower and gets actually good deep throws like that one to Ruggs. There were a lot of bad penalty calls in this game, I must say. I mean, taunting on Darren Waller, that was not taunting. I see players throw the ball down all the time. There was a lot of dumb penalties, and it sucks because we had the chance to tie it. We were down 21-14 with the ball, and we just couldn't convert it. And, you know, even with a home stadium, practically, it sucks we couldn't win. The Raiders will always be LA's football team. That's a fact, and you know, it's unfortunate that we couldn't convert there. We do have the Bears next week, which I think should be a win. The Bears aren't looking too impressive to me, you know, really not at all. Yeah, we won't see the Chargers until January 9th, but it's gonna be a very highly anticipated game. We should have won this. We're 3-1 now, so our undefeated season is no longer a thing. But going 3-0 was good. The only undefeated team left is the Arizona Cardinals now. But You know, we just got to go on to the next week. Obviously, we're going to lose some games. It just sucks to lose to a divisional team foe like this. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. We just had to convert more in the first half. If the Raiders scored at least 10 points in the first half, I think we would have won, because our momentum would have been, you know, there. There was also a delay in the game. It didn't start until like 35 minutes after the anticipated start because of weather, you know, delays and whatnot. So that was, I guess, interesting. You don't really see that in LA too much. But yeah, that's it. I think the Raiders were this close. And if you're a Charger fan, I would be worried that you barely beat the Raiders, and the Raiders probably worst game all year so far, you know, in terms of their offensive production. So yeah, anyways, guys, I'll see you guys later. 28-14, Raiders move to 3-1, Bears next week. So yeah, go Raiders.